Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer from Weltenburger, Weltenburger Kloster. Oldest monastery brewery in the world. I didn't know that. It's new news to me. I believe actually this is the first Weltenburger I've actually had in my life, including this channel, so it's really crazy. This is their Dunkle Doppelbock, so dark Doppelbock. I actually thought this was on BJCP, but it's actually not as a commercial example. But then again, they do have Weltenburger on Metzen and Munich Dunkel, I want to say. So, new beer for me. I never saw this on the shelf, so whenever new beer gets distributed, especially classic breweries like Weltenburger, try it out. I'm a big fan of Andex, and I feel like Andex doesn't come to Florida anymore because I don't see it on the shelf anymore. Andex actually makes one of the best double blocks of all time, but this is their take on double block from Weltenburger. So beer comes in a proper color. That is a nice kind of medium brown coming out of the bottle. And this beer is very dark. 7.3 double block. This beer is very dark. I mean, I think some people would have guessed it was like a stout or a porter. It is not. Wow, this is very dark for this beer. This beer comes in a solid medium deep brown color. I mean, it's deep brown actually. It's almost black. Comes with a very solidly deep brown. Comes in a kind of a medium tan on the head, but yeah, I mean, almost looks like Baltic porter or some porters or some stouts. Like, it is stupid dark. This is easily. All right, you guys supposed to come below. For a commercial example of dark Dunkel's Doppelbock, I don't think it's a darker style or darker example. Like, this is stupid dark. This is very dark. It smells like it. I assume it's very fresh because it just came to Florida from, like, my perception. I never saw this on the shelf. So it's all, what is it, like dried prunes, big rich malt character. So it's like pumpernickel, rye bread, toasted bread, bread crust, just like, artisanal bread crust and all this delicious stuff. A little bit of a cooked apple kind of characteristic, but like meaning more towards like really stewed fruits. So like I don't know, like apple compote, stewed pears, a little bit of this kind of like palm fruit character. Dried cherries, but a little bit like dried. It has a, Melba toast. Melba toast is a great descriptor here. It is rich and very, it's almost like a dried old toast, right? Like, toasted bread can have a little liveliness to it, right? We're talking about like breadcrumbs and croutons and just old, like, oof. It's almost like a spicy rye character in here. There's a big spiciness in here that's quite intense. Obviously, they don't use rye, but it smells almost like a rye Doppelbock. Weird beer. I for sure did not expect it this dark. So, just what Doppelbock is literally liquid bread. The beer drinks so drinkable for 7.3 beer. It really is, a lager, right? So it's like clean, drinkable, big malt flavor without big sweetness. That's what like Meriton and Doppelbock can sort of execute to the dime. Where, specifically German examples, where the attenuation is great. It is literally like, as I'm waiting here, like I feel overwhelmed by the amount of malt flavor in here. It almost is. That's a great analogy. It tastes a lot like. Why am I blanking? Oh no, this is not good. Like sometimes you blank for like 2 seconds, and this is a 5 second, 10-second blank. Katie, what's that Australian thing that they eat? The comes in the jar. Katie. Yeah. Vegemite, sorry. It tastes like Vegemite. It is yeast-laden malt flavor. It is so dense, so umami. It has almost like a fish sauce, like a Worcestershire, like all these rich, dark flavors that Vegemite does, similar to those other products. It's like fermented malt. It's so dense. It's what the freak on this beer. Mm-hmm. Up front's definitely a lot brighter. Pumpernickel, rye bread, toasted rye bread, dark rye bread, pumpernickel for sure. Then it gets a little like dense. Now you're getting into like molasses and Vegemite and a little bit dark fruit, a little bit dried prunes, a little bit of dried cherries in there, a little bit of dates, dried dates for sure. Like really dehydrated, like it's very dehydrated and dry. This beer up front has a little bit that kind of juicy character. As again, I say juicy, like not like everything. Everybody thinks like juicy. It has to associate with like fruits and hazy IPA. It can be malt flavored, right? Like it can be this kind of like rich, kind of like juicy, bready flavor, which I described. But yeah, this beer almost tastes like it's aged. I assume it's not because again, it's I don't know what this bottle means. It's 095N 141B. There's no threes. There's no twos. There's no year. Best spot, I don't know. But the label looks clean. It's a fresh bottle, ideally from where I got it. Where in Total Wine, where I've never seen it before. So obviously they dropped it at some point. It's a fun beer. It is definitely Doppelbock. How does it taste compared to the other guys? I definitely prefer it over Paulina Salvatore. Definitely not as complex as rich as Corbinian. Corbinian is Weinstefan. Corbinian is probably one of the best. Einga Celebrator, dude, that beer is like only like a 6.5 or 6.9 beer. It's the 7.3, so it's right there actually. That beer has a good amount of character to it. This beer is definitely darker and richer than that. So, if you guys are okay with umami, you're gonna love this. It is so Vegemite-y and like rich and dense, like big Doppelbock. It is a freaking meal in a glass, and the beer is attenuated. It's not a stickily sweet beer. It's just big, like. Oh my god! You like you feel like you're drinking malt extract. I've actually like I never brewed with I've never like anytime I've ever home brewed with anybody, it was with like actual malt. I've never had liquid malt extract, which malt kits that people use to homebrew. I imagine it has to taste like that, like whoppers and malt for days. Like it's so. It's almost too much, honestly. I really wish the beer actually had a little bit more levity to it, because this needs something to cut with it. This would be really fun with maybe some kind of hearty salad, to replace your big toast, like a big rich piece of toast with a big hearty salad, right? Like a light salad would, get crushed by this beer, but I'm thinking kale and sardines and a big fatty dressing, a Cobb salad that has bacon, eggs, all the stuff, right? Like something that's a really like not quite a salad kind of thing, or super intense kind of salad. This would be good because it just has this kind of maltiness that almost tricks you into a big. This is literally a like 6 loaves of bread combined into one glass, toasted, rye pumpernickel. It's very rich. And it's for beer at 7%, You think a lot of beers can really get there with 8, 9, 10, barrel aged, 12%, right? Like this beer has so much flavor for a beer at 7%. So it's like sort of like racking my mind where I'm trying to figure out like it's not. I don't find it really tasting drinkable. I want a little bit more complexity, but I really am impressed by how it drives that dial to 11 on a 7% beer. I can't remember the last time I had a beer that's just so malty. It is just the pure expression of just like dense malt. Like I feel like I just ate like 2 sandwiches and I'm like dying here. Like just oof. Yeah, it's a very rich beer. Absolutely fantastic. This beer for me is a solid. Again. I'm gonna give a solid 94. That's a very high rating. It's very unique in the sense that it just has so much to it. I think someone who's used to American craft beer where everything's turned up to the dial super high, this works for you. For a 7% beer that has so much flavor, is absolutely insane. Like I expect this from a barley wine that is barrel aged at like 11-12%. We're doing like multiple miles away from ABV from 7% to get there, and somehow this beer has just the amount of malt flavor. I think every barley wine brewer would wish to be able to make this amount of richness, because that kind of richness really translates well to barrel characteristics and makes really great barley wines, strong ales, whatever you want to say. But this Doppelbock at 7.3% is just so dense and delicious. Again, I think it really pairs probably pretty good. Like you'd want something pretty intense to pair with it, because it is just such a big beer. It is a meal to a beer. Like, so if you're looking for a meal to a beer, this is, in my opinion, I can't think of a great example right there. So there you go. Weltenburger Asam Bock, Doppelbock, 7.3%. Huge, ginormous beer. Unless I've had a double-digit barrel-aged beer, I don't think this is a bigger beer that's ever been on the channel. This is the biggest guy. This is the biggest guy under 10%. This is so big, fat guy. This is Weltenburger. Completely crazy. That's stupid, dumb beer. It's weird beer. 93, absolutely delicious. Cheers, later.